Phantom GT has been around for a little while now, enough time for everybody to get their hands on it, test out if they like it or not, and give it some serious playtime. And at the end of the day, the Phantom GT is actually a boot that I personally quite like wearing, one that I'll reach for fairly frequently without too many qualms. However, that doesn't mean that this boot is perfect. It definitely has some flaws, it definitely has some critics, and there's definitely a few things that the GT can learn from its predecessor, the Phantom Vision 2. Number one is a central lacing system. You can see here that the lacing system on the Phantom GT is pushed off to the lateral side to allow for a larger striking surface. Honestly, I don't think that particular striking surface, having it that little bit cleaner, is very beneficial, and I actually think that shuffling that lacing system into the center could do a lot of good for the overall shape and fit of the Phantom GT. So the first one for me is nice and simple: central lacing system. Number two carries on from number one, where I spoke about changing the fit and the shape. Well, that's literally exactly what I want them to do with number two. The Phantom GT Elite is a fairly wide fit boot, and you know what? I don't have a problem with that. I think having a wider boot in Nike's lineup is absolutely the right thing to do. However, many people have had a problem with excessive material on this instep area, just bunching where it doesn't quite fit your foot properly. There's just too much material in here. I think shuffling the lacing system will help. See point one. And I think just a general tweak to the overall last change is something that we do want to see on the Phantom GT2 while maintaining that wide fit. That little last or shape adjustment can also just give the boot a slight size adjustment. These do run slightly long. I think that confuses people. I think it scares people, drives people away from the boot. A slight shape change might just be able to bring this to a standardized Nike sizing as well, and that's going to be a huge benefit and definitely has to be on this list. Number three is where we borrow from the Phantom Vision 2, and of course, we are going to borrow the quad fit mesh. If you don't know what quad fit mesh is, it's this material that's on the inside of the boot here. So if I can show you, it's this silver material here. Its whole purpose is to be as soft and flexible as possible, mold around your foot until you apply pressure and tension to it. You put it under load. When you do that, by either pulling the laces tight or by making quick cuts and changes of direction, it becomes stiff and hard and it locks your foot in place. Honestly, it's a phenomenal technology, and I am shocked that Nike haven't rolled this out to more products. I'm surprised that it only features on the Tiempo, and that looks to be going away. And I was very surprised that the GT did not feature any kind of quad fit mesh. The GT is great. However, if you were going to offer me this GT with an increased amount of lockdown and responsiveness, which is absolutely what the Vision 2 quad fit mesh could offer you, then take my money. Take my money right now. This with added responsiveness, because it's not the most responsive boot in the world. Oh, that tickles my taters, that does. Just made up a phrase. Number four is where the GT gets its name from, the generative texture. Now, I don't actually have anything against the generative texture as a whole. It's all these little pills in a specific form as they run around the boot. Nike have made a really big deal out of how this is designed to be basically in all the key contact zones and help you with your touch on the ball. We've heard it all before. I don't really believe it. I don't really think it makes much of a difference. And the first thing I want to change in this section is just stop telling us that, because we don't care and I don't believe it. Like, if you are going to try and sell me that the GT placement is important, maybe don't put a completely different style of GT right in the middle of the boot that clearly doesn't correspond to the rest of the generative texture. The second thing I want to do is I actually want to improve on the GT. I like it. It's reasonably tacky. It gives you a nice surface. However, I think Nike can go further. I think the tacky tactile sensation that you get off the top of this boot can be improved. Now, I don't want to lose the barefoot nature of this boot, so I don't want the quad fit and maybe a changed GT to make this padded and bulky. I still want to retain a lot of that barefoot feeling. I'm not talking about going full Predator here, but I definitely think it can be a little bit more tacky, and it can definitely be a little bit more effective on the ball. Number 5 is a little bit of a wild card entry, and I'm not sure it's something that I personally want to see, but from both a marketing perspective and the perspective of a lot of people, there is something that Nike could do to this boot that would definitely push it over the edge and into the hands of a lot more people. Like I say, I'm not behind this, but it is an option. Number 5 is to give this a striking element. Take inspiration from the other boot that this replaced, so it replaced the Vision and the Venom, and give it a striking element and really lean into the idea that this is a striker's boot with a striking element, and of course, you give it T90 vibes. People are hot for nostalgia right now. If you made this the T90 GT, you gave it a striking element and a little bit of redesign, these would fly off the shelves. Again, I'm not behind this idea. It's not something I want to see, but let me know down in the comments, is that something you want to see? Because I bet there's a lot of people that do. A bonus thing to change, 5.5. For my friends that have had issues with this, I haven't, they have. This is for you, the heel. People have had some issues with the heel padding, just got blisters off it. So let's change the heel as well. That one's for you, Tom. Those are 5 things I'd change. Here are 2 that I would keep the same. The first one is the tooling. I actually think the tooling on this is pretty fantastic. The multi-directional flex from the forefoot while still being stable through that heel and midfoot, the stud positioning right up on the toes here to just give you that extra aggressiveness, the lengths, the shapes. I really, really like this particular sole plate. I think it's excellent. The only change that I would maybe see is you could make this into a standard sole plate. This doesn't have to be a split sole with a spine, but it's not important enough for me to change. So sole plate, that stays. The other thing I'd keep the same is a big one for me. The Phantom GT replaced both the Vision and the Venom. So this is one boot replacing 2 lines, and I absolutely keep that. Having 4 big lines for me and then the Premier on top of that is just too much. I think Adidas need to drop a line as well, and I think having the GT, the Mercurial, the Tiempo, it's a really nice little set and it gives you everything you need. Everyone gets options, and please don't bring back another line. I can't take it. Is there anything else you would absolutely keep on the Phantom GT, or anything else you are desperately looking to change? Let me know down in the comments, as well as liking the video and getting subscribed to the channel so you can pick up more videos like this along with my boot reviews. But that is all from me here at BootWizard today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a good one. I will see you soon.